Here we
Yeah,
go.
awesome. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Add-ons community meeting. If I could get everybody to just quickly write down your name in the agenda under attendees, that would be super helpful. How's everybody doing today?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
Excellent. I managed to pick up a head cold yesterday, so I'm gonna try to limit the amount of talking on this call. We'll see how that goes. Uh, cool. Well, I would like to get this meeting started off by giving a quick shout out to our content review extraordinaire BJ for all of his help in making sure that add-ons are comply with Mozilla's acceptable use policy and are not spam. BJ is BJ is was one of our first content reviewers, and he's definitely one of our most active. So, just wanted to acknowledge all of his contributions to Mozilla and give him a shout out. Um, all right, so we have a couple of things to talk about today. I wanted to let everybody know that the FOSDEM call for proposals are due on the 25th, so that's coming up pretty soon. FOSDEM is a conference that happens every year in Brussels. It's free and it's centered on open source technology. So if you have a technical talk or even if you have a non-technical talk that relates to open source, they're definitely interested in soliciting proposals. Mozilla usually goes every year. A lot of the European Mozillians go to Meetup. So it's a great place to go and meet a lot of people who are interested in kind of the same things we're interested in. And if you have a talk that you'd like to give, please go ahead and submit that proposal. That would be super rad. And then let us know if your proposal gets accepted so we can brag about you to everyone and make them go to your session. um, any questions about FOSDEM? Okay, cool. And there's a link to a discourse thread on the Mozilla forums that talks a little bit more about how to apply for the proposal. So that forum post will set you up with everything that you need to know. A second thing I wanted to bring up, because we've had a couple of questions. So a few weeks ago, Chrome made an announcement that they were looking at releasing a manifest v3. And obviously that perked everybody's ears up because one of the things that we want to try to make sure is that extensions that are written for Chrome remain as compatible with Firefox as possible. So changes to a manifest would be pretty significant news. So we found their tracking bug over on the Chromium tracker. So right now they're in a public comment period. One of the things that was in the tracking bug was also what they're thinking for V3. So it's their proposal for the V3 manifest that they've made open to folks who are following the Chromium development, which I thought was actually pretty cool because it had been a little bit like staring into a black box for us for a while. So Mike shared this at last week's show and tell meeting. So if you've already seen that, nothing has changed. This is just the official Chrome's version of it. So if you'd like to take a look and see what they're thinking, that would be really helpful. And if you have any questions, just let us know. If I'm not able to answer any questions, Mike Honka is going to be on point, I think, for kind of coordinating our efforts to remain compatible with them. Any questions about Manifest v3?
Do you know if the timeline where Mozilla will give official response regarding V3?
Oh, I think Mike was gonna. So Mike's out for the rest of the week. I think he was gonna give it next week, but I can double check with him. Let me just make a quick note. Um, yeah, I can ask Mike. Okay, cool. All right, so that's news from outside of the organization. The next thing I wanted to go over really quickly with this group was some of our preliminary 2019 goals for the add-ons group. So we're still hammering these out, and in 2 weeks we'll be at the All Hands in Orlando. So I would expect that there's going to be some more plans coming out of that meeting. But I just wanted to give you a quick overview of kind of what we're driving for. And I don't have any slide deck to share with you, so my apologies. You're just going to have to sit and listen to me talk for a couple minutes. So for the most part, our goals are pretty similar to what we've been working on this year. One of our biggest concern right now is getting users to choose and use Firefox. So to that end, next year you can expect to see more marketing campaigns and SEM campaigns. So an SEM campaign is kind of like you buy search words, and then those search words will point to information that's relevant to like what you want to like give people. So in this case, if you were searching for like ad blocker, like we would maybe do an SEM buy that would point you to some of the best ad blocking extensions, and to try to help users more easily find what they're looking for and install that extension. And then we're also going to be continuing work on the Return to AMO project. So this was a gap that we identified earlier in the year, where if you go to AMO on a non-Firefox browser and you click install extension, you're prompted through a Firefox, like an install Firefox run, but you don't actually get returned to the AMO site that you were previously on. So this would help close that gap. And once you get Firefox running, you would be able to start back from that AMO page that you were recently on. So you could complete the thing that you could actually install the thing that you wanted to install in the first place. So that had been pushed back. That had been pushed back to, I think, Firefox 64 or 65 now. So it's on our radar. It's just, unfortunately, it was delayed a little bit longer than we thought it was going to be. So we're going to be continuing to make some SEO changes. We're still going to be working for a contextual feature recommender. So when people are using the browser, if the browser notices them doing certain behaviors, it can recommend extensions that can help provide that feature. So like if we see people who are like, I don't know, navigating to like some, I don't actually have a good example for this. If we see people who are like constantly navigating to a spell checker or something, like we might recommend Grammarly for that. Something along those lines. So CFR has been in development for a while. One of our big concerns about CFR is how do we do it in a non-creepy way? Because we definitely we still don't want people's data. We still don't really want to know, but we do want to be able to make suggestions for things that could be relevant at the time that the users are doing it. So figuring out that balance has been something that the team has been working on for a while now, and that work is going to continue into the future. We're also going to try to make it a little bit easier to manage extensions next year. So one of the things that we're looking at is kind of like, what does a good post-install experience look like? And is there anything that Firefox can do to make, to help onboard users into extensions once they're installed? So right now, that experience kind of varies by extension and varies by developer. So some developers will open a new tab and do an onboarding flow through that. Sometimes there will be a browser action that says something like, hey, we're here. And some extensions go completely silent and users aren't sure what's going on. So we're trying to figure out if there's a good way that we can make that onboarding experience, if we can influence the onboarding experience a little bit more from the browser side. Similarly, we're converting some of our Zool pages into HTML. So one of those things is about add-ons, the add-ons manager, and Disco Pane. So there was a UI cleanup that just landed. UI cleanup that was just released. So continuing to make improvements there, and also rip out the Zool and convert it to HTML. And then next year we'll also be looking, we'll be continuing to expand the Web Extensions API. Mike will be able to talk a little bit more about the specifics. Right now we're still on like the long tail of APIs that developers want to have. So Mike will be able to talk a little bit about like supporting that long tail and also what some of the other plans for extending the API are in the future. But yeah, we do have plans to continue developing that. So that is like a very quick sketch of what H1, like the first half of next year, is going to look like. Are there any questions at this time? Might not have answers, but I'm happy to hear questions and do some digging.
Nothing about reviewers' tools?
Not at this time, no. I think that's still being negotiated out in the AMO, yeah, in the AMO planning process. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, cool. So that was the big thing that I just wanted to give everybody a heads up on. And as we have more plans coming to light for 2019, we'll be sure to share them with the group. Yeah. And then the last bit that I had was just a little bit of administrivia. So December is kind of a short month with the holiday season for a large part of Europe and the United States and Canada coming up at the end of the year. Plus with the all hands coming up, we've got a couple of meetings that are going to be canceled. So we won't have an add-ons community meeting on December 5th. We'll be back December 19th for a year-end celebration, closing things out. And then January 2nd would be our next community meeting, and that's the day after we get back. There will be no new updates, so we're just going to go ahead and cancel that until we can kind of like land on our feet again after the holiday break. December, we're also canceling the add-on show and tell, so if you have something that you want to present at show and tell, just hold on to that. We'll be back in January. And you can also show and tell it at any time on our forums if you don't want to wait anymore. So that's what we're looking at for upcoming meetings. And that was really all that I had planned to talk about today. We're just kind of plugging along, getting ready for the all hands and kind of trying to close out some of the projects that we had going for Q4. Q4 is just a really short quarter, so it's always kind of like, all right, let's set like a couple of goals and then like, let's just see what we can do. Does anyone else have anything that they'd like to share? Okay. Oh, I see a comment. Okay, so Shivam says that, oh, awesome. Okay, so Shivam says that he had an add-on workshop in the College of Bhopal, and it looks like there is a link that he pasted in. So Shivam, I'm just gonna quickly drop that link into our document so that other people can read them. Yeah, so we'll be sure to check that out. Siobhan, was this the meeting, or was this the meetup where you had everybody using, oh, it's a blog post only, okay. Siobhan, was this the meetup where you had everybody built boilerplating using webextensions.tech?
Looks like it, yeah.
Awesome, awesome, super cool, super, super cool. Yeah, webextensions.tech is great. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's a great way of just very quickly getting you started with kind of like your template for not with a template, sorry, with like your file folder structure for making an extension that's compatible with Firefox. It's pretty great stuff. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well then, keep on keeping on, y'all. Folks in the U.S. are going to be out for the rest of the week due to US Thanksgiving. We'll be back online next week. Folks who are not in the US will still be around, so wave at them and say hi.
Thank you.
Okay.
6 weeks. Looking forward.
What was that?
Looking forward to see you in 2 weeks and the rest of the team.
Yeah. It'll be good. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.